They said this mansion broke HOA rules and fines were unpaid, but no one ever asked who truly owned this place, and that was their biggest mistake. Ethan never argued. He only observed everything in silence, while others kept shouting about violations. The HOA believed they controlled everything with rules and penalties, but they forgot that not every property could be controlled. Notices kept appearing on the door again and again, but Ethan's reaction never changed even once. Pressure was rising, but men like Ethan don't break easily. They reveal what others cannot see. The HOA called an emergency meeting, thinking they still had control, but things were already slipping away. Ethan moved through his mansion calmly, as if nothing in the world could disturb him. They checked records repeatedly, but something didn't match what they believed was true. The mansion stood between mountains like a secret no one fully understood. At sunset, Ethan stood on the balcony watching everything quietly, knowing change was coming. The HOA board started panicking because their rules were no longer working the way they used to. One phone call reached Ethan, and without emotion, he simply listened and confirmed everything. Inside the HOA, trust began to break as members started blaming each other. The system that once felt powerful was now cracking from inside. Ethan walked through his private library filled with legal files and property records. Everything he saw there was already part of a bigger plan. Violation papers kept increasing, but control was no longer in the HOA's hands. They were chasing authority they had already lost. Ethan finally stood face to face with them, calm and unmoving. One document shifted everything, turning confidence into fear instantly. A storm began forming over the mountains as tension rose even higher. But the real storm had already started inside their decisions long ago. Ethan sat in his office, surrounded by maps and documents, fully in control. Every action around him was falling exactly into place. The HOA thought they were still powerful, but they were only reacting now. Their arguments became louder as confusion spread among them. Ethan never rushed, never panicked, never doubted anything. Every step he took was calculated and precise. The mansion itself felt like it held hidden authority beyond imagination. Even the silence inside it felt powerful. The HOA's confidence continued to collapse as reality sank in. They began realizing they had misunderstood everything from the beginning. Ethan remained calm while everything around him started changing rapidly. The balance of power had already shifted without anyone noticing. Legal pressure meant nothing anymore because the situation had moved beyond their control. Every file they opened only made them more uncertain. Ethan's presence alone changed the energy in every room he entered. They tried to regain control, but every attempt failed quietly. The mansion stood untouched, as if it was above their authority. Even their strongest voices started sounding weak. Ethan watched everything unfold without saying a word, because he didn't need to explain anything anymore. The HOA was now dealing with consequences they created themselves. Every decision they made pushed them further into confusion. The truth was slowly becoming impossible to ignore. Ethan had already prepared for every outcome. There was no surprise left for him, only confirmation. The system around the HOA was now completely unstable, and they finally realized too late that they were never in control. Ethan stood quietly as everything reached its final turning point, and the entire situation was already decided long before they understood it.